Hey there, guys and girls. How are we doing today? Today is going to be pull day, which is one of my favorite days. This is my all-time, probably long-term favorite day, favorite training day of the week. If you probably already noticed, but I got the video length down quite a bit. This one coming in at just under 13 minutes for the full training day. I'm not sure how I was able to manage to do that. I didn't really do anything any different. Hopefully, hopefully I didn't forget to do anything in my training day. What's particularly odd is I even added a third working set, a third working exercise to pull day. I added, ring curls, like ring bicep curls. Not, trying to, I am trying to get some fatigue, but it's more so just a therapeutic and mobility exercise where I've been having some tendonitis in my left elbow. I'm just trying to help make that joint stronger and help those tendons with recovery with something that's probably around the 50 to 60% intensity level instead of the 90 to 100% intensity level of a typical working set like my weighted pull-ups or my body weight rows. But anyways, I've really been working on my overall routine a lot here lately. I've just really been trying to think about it from an overall standpoint. I use the two-set method, so I'm trying to use a very minimalist approach. Like I used to train, over the years. I've been training like 15, 16 years now. I used to train a huge volume, so I would do like 5 to 7, maybe even more on some days, different exercises, and each exercise was like 3 to 5 sets. I would rest about 3 minutes in between each exercise and about 1.5 minutes between sets, if I remember correctly. And you do not have to train that way. I was almost always in a constant plateau. I was strong, don't get me wrong, and I was able to maintain my strength, compared to the average person. But I was stuck in a very severe plateau, and I wasn't, getting any better. I wasn't getting any stronger. Just in general, or better at skills. And that's because I was overtraining. I did not have adequate recovery, for the amount of muscle breakdown that I was doing each day that I trained, which was most of the days of the week. You don't need that huge volume. You just have to have extreme quality, and you gotta do correctly what you can in a smaller volume, and that's where the real gains are. Like, you want to break down the muscles, but you don't want to break them down so much that they take extended recovery periods. And what happens over time, if you're just giving them a little bit of stimulus and not breaking them down severely, is that you're able to undergo the muscle breakdown, rest and recovery, repeat cycle at a lot faster rate. And that allows you to get stronger a lot quicker, build a lot more strength, and it all comes down to just patience and not overdoing it. Here's a 2-finger assisted 1-arm pull-up. And as I was saying, patience. I'm going very slow, not trying to jerk myself up into it. And don't mistake that for weakness. Never mistake when you see someone doing something slow because they're too weak to do the exercise. If you don't believe me, just go try any exercise that you're familiar with. Say, regular pull-ups, for example. And do one regular rep, how you normally do them. And then try one rep where you go really slow. And tell me which one took more effort. I promise you it will be that latter option. And weirdly enough, even though it is more fatiguing on the muscle, it is also safer on the joint, because you're not asking your joints to withstand a huge sudden impact. You're slowly putting the pressure on. They have plenty of time to be prepared. You have plenty of time to see if they're going to be able to hold the load that you're asking them to hold or not. Here is band-assisted ring dips. I am at a much higher level. I'm able to do unassisted ring dips, and I have been able to do them for years. The reason why I am doing the band-assisted is because of that tendonitis in my left elbow. Even with the band, you can see me shaking my arm a little bit there. I'm just trying to be safe, trying to play it safe, We have to get over our egos and listen to our body. And like I was saying, you got to have that patience and train. I almost took a tumble. You have to have patience, and you have to train in a lot more intelligent way instead of a more ego-fueled way. Take these pull-ups, for example. I'm trying to explode up, but I'm trying to really control the movement and come down. Not as slow as I possibly could, but I am trying to come down, with a lot of control and not just a sudden drop. And this is the kind of rep quality that you should be aiming for on any kind of working exercise. You got to have that explosive positive, and then the sort of slow and controlled negative. And then here I'm even going to add and train a little bit past, I won't really say failure, because I didn't do that first part of this set to true failure. But I don't think I was getting up there without sacrificing rep quality. So in order to get another high quality rep, I had to do a negative. Here's the second set of that. I have rested about 5 minutes or so. I walked around the block. I'm not trying to hype myself up, not trying to toot my own horn. I am by no means perfect. I am by no means a really high level athlete. But this is the kind of rep quality that you should always be aiming for. Don't think about rep numbers. That's all people care about. That's all people focus on when they go in the gym, is who's hitting more reps, who can do more pull-ups, who can do more dips, etc., etc. And that's not the goal at the end of the day. The goal is rep quality. And, those slow, controlled negatives, those explosive positives, throwing in a negative like you see me do here at the end of your set, especially if it's your last set. I was really feeling that. You can actually get a lot of gains when you do little subtle details like that. It really helps you get the most gains out of what you're doing. It's not about the rep number, it's about the rep quality and that controlled time under tension. That's what really makes us strong. Just build true, incredible strength over time. Sorry, I'm taking me a drink of my BCAAs here. I talked a little bit about supplements yesterday, and that was one of those that I forgot to mention. I always drink BCAAs during and after my workouts. And that I'm still all natural. It's not like I'm shooting roids or anything. BCAAs are branched chain amino acids, and those are sort of the rarer, the less commonly occurring amino acids that are naturally found in our diet if you eat, various types of proteins. But when you drink BCAAs, you take a BCAA supplement, you're just taking a more concentrated version of something that is found naturally. So anyways, we're on the second working exercise, or we have been for the past couple clips. This is body weight rows. This is more so hitting those posterior lats and the posterior deltoids. Probably a little bit of bicep in there, but this is a great building block to help develop a front lever. Front lever is a lot of core, but I think more so than core, it is your back muscles, and it's your shoulder strength and your ability to just maintain that lever. Alrighty, so let's get into that last working exercise, that new working exercise. Today's the first day I have done this in recent times. Maybe last year I might have done this when I was doing those really overtraining types of workouts that I used to do, like I spoke about earlier. Like I was saying, I'm not trying to train to failure here. I'm not really trying to train to near failure. This is more of a therapeutic and mobility exercise. I'm probably at about 50 to 60% intensity, and I definitely could have hit some more reps. But that's not the goal of this exercise. The goal of this exercise is to just put those tendons in my left elbow that are giving me some problems, is to put them under some moderate loads and under some controlled movements. I'm trying to put some controlled tension on them, just to help motivate them to recover and fortify their strength. And in turn, that will allow me later on down the road to do things like slow muscle ups and one-arm pull-ups and things like that when my joints get strong enough to handle all the pressure, that my muscles are pretty close to being able to complete at this point in time. I think it was just a couple weeks ago I was able to hold a body weight, like a full body weight, unassisted 90-degree one-arm lock-off. That's pretty much a one-arm pull-up being held at 90 degrees of flexion in the arm. I was able to hold that for 1 to 3 seconds on the left side, my strong arm. And I was pretty close to it on my right side, my weak arm. But I do not think that my tendons in my elbow liked that at all. They did not feel super good. So, you got to know when to take it easy. But thank you guys for watching. Let me know if you have any questions. Take care and happy training. Bye-bye.